Great to have Aaron with us this afternoon as the final seconds count down to the bounce of the ball. The Port Adelaide fans are packed in here. A hot afternoon. Jason Dunstall, are you tipping the home team or an upset from Fremantle?
No, I'm tipping the home team. I think Fremantle will improve in 2018, but I expect some serious finals participation from Port.
Well, the season begins for Fremantle and Port Adelaide, and Lockie Neal, who racked them up in the JLT, back to his physical best, sends them forward and gets Fremantle off and running. He had 36 disposals and 3 goals in said game. JLT 2 against West Coast. The rookie sends them deep towards full forward. Oh, almost play that one to Fife, not quite. And they're under some serious pressure here, as Howard found out. Mundy out to Ballantyne, to Neal, just didn't quite get enough on it. And Westhoff was able to take the relieving mark. The versatile Justin West might not have a shot, but he's a beautiful kick. He doesn't even try, just caresses it to the top of the square. Westhoff, Neal, wrapped up by Bonner. And that's a good result for Port Adelaide.
Oh, he just wore the goalpost. Fortunately, the padding protected him, but he's just had the wind knocked out of him, Dougal Howard.
Half forward, pouncing his wingard. Does he get the protection and the options? There's a couple of whistles gone.
Holding. It's going to go to Jack Watts, I think.
Watts.
Yeah, against Michael Johnson. He's got the job on Watts as Alex Pearce lines up on Charlie Dixon. So a great opportunity here for Jack Watts to get a goal, to get his own confidence up, and to get Port Adelaide up and running. It's really interesting you spoke about that territory battle, Hutto, which has been all Freo thus far. Port Adelaide #1 team in the competition for playing in their forward half last season.
Well, Jack Watts, he's a beautiful kick of the footy, 22 goals, 9 last year. We all know the story. I told Jason before the game just how relaxed he's finding things here. Well, if he can relax over this one, he can kick Port Adelaide's first goal of the season. And he was doing his best to will it back, but hits the post.
He's actually getting picked up by Hamish Hartland. I don't reckon that's the right matchup, particularly in the air.
Great understanding there from Westhoff. Marshall, the beneficiary, driving, kick to half forward. Well stocked though, Fremantle back there. Sutcliffe. Wilson was prepared to wear one to maximise the effect, but there's a couple of Freo players on the ground. Charlie looks guilty. Connor Blake.
Very little in it. It actually is one of those that looks a lot worse than it is.
This goes to Chad Wingard. Disposals went up from 15 to 22 last year per game as he went into the midfield. Such a creative type. And now they can try and take advantage of that. Burne-Jones measured that beautifully to the square. Watts kept his feet, kept his head, and kicked the goal. His first for Port Adelaide. Worthy of celebration.
It was a nervous kick, the first one, the first shot he had, but made no mistake there. And that's a great start for Jack Watts. You can see what it means to his teammates, the way they get over and embrace him. And again, that's what he was brought to Port Adelaide for, to be able to finish when they go inside 50. They didn't do it as well as they would have liked last year, but Jack Watts, Motlop, they're going to make a difference in that area.
11 entries for just 4 behind so far. Sandilands came late, but it didn't matter because Brayshaw had judged the dropping ball and he can send it back to the danger spot at the top of the square. Taverner looked good all the way. Bonner, though, with the clearing kick. And the danger could change very quickly here, Port's way. Boak just had to bide some time. Wingard was there to Marshall. Got a call from Motlop. Watts has already kicked one. Now Motlop might join the party. They can't stop him. What a start for the recruits of Port Adelaide.
It's a great call, though. You couldn't ask for anything more. When you bring experienced players in, you've probably already earmarked the roles that you want them to play. And there's no doubt Kenny Hinkley wants to start converting some of the opportunities, because they do, as a general rule, win the territorial battle. And to have Watts and Motlop in that forward 50, clever players that know how to finish, already they're starting to reap the reward. So very, very good early signs for Port Adelaide until their new recruits.
Houston back into the middle to Howard. To Bonner. So All the action now at the other end of the ground. Had a few choices and changed his mind. Here's Dixon. Wingard, you can't count him out from there.
Chose a very difficult skill to execute, the banana across your body.
Fremantle overusing the ball. There was no way out. Through to Matera. Faces the same difficulty, but he's done well to spot Walters. And this is positive because they've got through. Langdon should goal from here. Too far in the clear to stop. Could have kept going even further, but he makes sure of it. And finally, Fremantle goal. Just couldn't quite connect with Dixon or Sandilands. Thump into the turf. Ryder to Wines. Delicate but effective. Again, looking. Ignoring the umpire completely.
Might have been the pretend look too, Hutto, I think.
I mean, he's on the perfect side for a left footer just to kick it around the corner. He would have practiced this 100 times.
And practice makes perfect for Chad Wingard.
Perfect execution. I mean, he was just getting his breath back. There's no point going for a risky pass when you've got the skills that this man possesses. And this is something he would have practiced over and over again on the training track. We see it so many times. Players so adept at kicking across the body, particularly when you're coming from the pocket that is your natural angle. So the left footer just swings it around, makes it look very, very easy, but a pretty difficult skill. So terrific finish from Chad Wingard. He's only picked up the 4 himself, but that's not his role when you're playing on 5.
So Ryder, of course, we're going to be wary of the protected zone today. I'm sure all the players are. Identifies both. He got himself into a dangerous position. Well executed by Paddy Ryder. Spent 58% of his time forward last year, approximately. Kicked 19 goals, 13. He's pretty handy in front of goals. There's the Port captain as he puts on display for the home crowd yet again.
So they've really weathered the storm, Port Adelaide. It was all Fremantle early. They had all the possession in their forward half of the ground. Repeat inside 50s, but they just didn't capitalise, unfortunately, on the scoreboard. So Port Adelaide weathered that. They've now been able to start getting their hands on the footy, control the flow of the football, plenty of uncontested marks. For a big bloke, that's a great spot, delivering the ball inside 50. For your ruckman to be able to spot up a little space and hit the small forwards, terrific kick from Paddy Ryder and a great finish from Boak.
About the smallest man on the field there, Hayden Ballantyne, took Big Charlie down. He looks like he's got a bit of that hunger back, Hayden Ballantyne. Ross Lyon, in my time as a player, talked a lot about players playing dog hungry. It's an interesting phrase, I know, but he looks like he's dog hungry, Ballantyne.
Oh, good spot.
And tucks the kick nicely. So Hill has all the time in the world. Have to make the most of it, and he does. He nails the kick. Important goal. Houston gets a call from Bonner, and then Westhoff, and then Boak. The next kick normally a bit harder. Marshall almost. Sam Gray. Wow. That's a little different than what we've seen so far in this game. Passing all the way down the ground.
Yeah, and just the ability to take your opportunities when you go forward. Port Adelaide have really started the second quarter like they started the fourth. In that Fremantle have dominated field position, but a few times they've been able to get it inside 50, they've converted.
He's one of those players that gets under your guard, Sam Gray. And we all talk about Robbie Gray and how great he is, and we know he's a superstar player. This guy doesn't get the kudos, but he finds a way to contribute. He creates goals and he kicks goals.
More of a mid in 2016, but back in the forward line last year. Still averaged 18 disposals. He's involved in plenty of their scores. His goal kicking wasn't great, and on this occasion, he's able to hit up Paddy Ryder.
That's a terrific kick. He Everyone thought he was having the long shot for goal. Paddy Ryder came up with a lead. Little chip over the top.
Just fell asleep a bit too.
Had a busy week, Paddy Ryder on the home front as he screws that one around and puts it through.
Sorry, Hutto, just saying the Fremantle defenders fell asleep there, and you just got the sense it was going to be right on Sam Gray's distance, whether he'd make the journey or not. And Paddy Ryder, really clever. You can see him just playing dead. Just a smart little kick. That's obviously been rehearsed, that play, to be able to just pull the kick last second, Paddy Ryder into the space. And
It's just happened a few too many times as far as Fremantle are concerned. Hartlett, good depth for both, who just got the protection he needed to take the mark. It's just looking a bit ominous right now as he swings the pass in to Tommy Rockwood.
And this has happened a bit too easily. If I'm Ross Lyon, Roo, I'm worried about the way I'm shoring up my defensive 50. Too many chips into space finding free forwards.
generally that's the role of the midfielders, that as soon as the opposition have the ball in that situation, forwards, you get back to the mid part of the ground and defend them, and midfielders, you push into the 50 and start to occupy those lanes so there's no space.
He's really shown an ability at times to kick multiple goals in matches. He finished off last year doing just that, and he slots this one, Tom Rockcliffe. All the recruits getting in on the act.
You see the excitement amongst the players. So Watts has got one, Motlop's got one, now Rockcliffe's got one. Things couldn't have worked out better. And you just see he just pushed on Daniel Pearce, pushed off him, put Pearce on the back foot. He came on the lead, a little hit up from Travis Boak, and then a good finish. A little too easy, and I'm sure Ross Lyon will address these things at half-time.
Burne-Jones become a very accomplished performer off half-back. Polak trying to angle that left foot out in front of Dixon, imposing. The big man takes it, swings it into the square. Power Pepper. The only disadvantage was where he finds himself now. He's played on. He'll be regretting that, but he didn't panic. And that sure left foot, Freo are claiming it's touched.
We'll get a review here.
Score review. Umpire's call is touch ball. Please review.
So we heard them say the umpire's call is touched off the boot. So if they can't definitively decide one way or the other, it'll stay behind.
Looks like that.
Hard to tell, isn't it?
Right.
I always feel like this one, if the umpire's calling touched, it must have been touched because he's heard something or seen something. Usually if you're unsure, I feel like you're going to call it a goal because it means you're not quite sure or that you've seen it or heard it.
All the players have set up for a kick out, so I think there's always going to be a behind.
Fair to say, Sam Pepper didn't agree with it, but you'd expect just that. Too much height on the kick, made it easy fodder for the Port defence. Barry pouncing, Pepper, they're cranking up through the middle. A slight fumble from Motlop, doesn't matter. Through centre half forward and closing. Burne-Jones, and on the end of it, Charlie couldn't help but take the mark. Fremantle hitting full throttle at the Adelaide Oval.
Well, the exact same passages of play. Fremantle going down one end with the inside 50 kick. Wrong option and didn't execute anyway. So you had the player coming at you, kick it over his head. Port Adelaide go back, do the exact same thing, lace out the forward. That's about the difference between the two teams at the moment.
Here's Charlie Dixon. It's good enough. It's clapped through. Plenty of joy for Port Adelaide. They've kicked the last 4 goals, and the margin out to 38 points as we get down to Aaron Phillips.
Yeah, a bit concerned. Jared Pollock just come off before that goal. Really concerned with his left groin and a couple of pain relievers, but something to watch. I'm not sure if he'll come back on. It looks in a bit of pain, boys.
The most touches with 12. Lockie Neal and then Pearce. They tumble another one inside. And that's well read by Matera, who's got busy in this quarter. Started to win the footy, both ends of the ground, in particular in the back line up until now, but has to try his best to convert here.
It's just classic forward play. from Brandon Matera. Any stoppage where it's a scramble kick, a quick kick forward like that, you want to be in front as a forward and you want to be the first to move. So that gives you an opportunity to get to the ball like Brandon Matera did then.
Didn't kick a goal on the JLT. Love to launch one here from 50. It's a good effort. It covers the ground and it's straight enough.
Fife wins the ball by monstering the other midfielders, his opponents, but Ollie Wines and Pal Pepper in particular are able to match him physically.
It's really interesting because they do the work at the stoppage and then Brad Eden's the one that follows him around.
Fell on a platter for Big Sandilands and they've kicked 3 in a row.
To Paddy Ryder. The umpire had to stop Paddy Ryder from chasing him and clubbing him.
Yeah, Hunter getting in there as we saw on the bottom corner of screen. They've botched the move forward again, and Bonner and now Westhoff. Watts straight away knew exactly where Motlop was, and now we all do. Skimming through into the 50 for Wingard. It wasn't perfect, but it was pretty close. It ends in a goal to Marshall.
Well, we've looked at those score sources a number of times, and Port Adelaide are scoring heavily from turnovers, and they force one again there. They've had opportunities, Freo, and a number of times they've just been unable to make it happen. This is David Mundy, and that's a 50-50 ball at absolute best. And to go to a short 50-50 and look at the numbers that Port have got ahead of the footy, this hand pass from Motlop actually misses the target, but Wingard could have strolled in and kicked the goal, but unselfishly just made sure of it by the handball over the top. Oh, there's a good kick. The really disappointing thing about that last turnover, Rui, is it shouldn't be coming from one of your most senior experienced players either.
Motlop starting to display his wares here at the Adelaide Oval. Casual little kick over the top too.
And how many times have they done that? Just chipped it over the man on the mark into a leading alley where no one is filling the hole.
That'll be a fair portion of review, I reckon, come Monday. There'll be a bit to work with for the coaches. Some young and some not quite so young who've made the errors.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Jack.
Speaking of young, Marshall just kicking that last goal before, only 19 years of age. Todd Marshall. And that's a nice strike.
Yeah.
Second goal for Todd Marshall, and the margin back to 34.
We can see Todd Marshall here. He's in a position where he's already signalling to Motlop that he's going to duck back into the space. We've got Nathan Wilson who's trying to fill a lane, but he ends up really not doing anything. He needs to be over here protecting the space that Marshall wants to duck back into. And by the time he turns his head, it's just too late. He's had no impact whatsoever.
Bit of help from the bounce. He's done a pretty good job to get it to a teammate in Tavernar. Wobbles one forward. McCarthy on the bike up the ground now. Has to ride as hard as he can. Back towards goal. It's coming. What an effort. It's pitched over the line. That is a stunning goal from Cam McCarthy.
Been some brilliant tackles early in this third term from Port Adelaide that have resulted in free kicks. And here's Bonner again. Holding to Jack Watts.
Oh.
So he'll be a shot for goal from 35 metres out on a slight angle.
Gosh, you kick a big goal like that, a team lifter.
Yep.
Shane Curson on the far wing did such a great job. 3v1.
So bottom right, you can see him pointing where he wants to lead, and he's must have seen the jumper tug. It didn't look to be a hell of a lot in it, but deemed a free kick. The umpire can only pay what he sees. Now, he had one to start the game and missed from a very similar position.
Just his 7th game at the Adelaide Oval. Had only kicked 3 goals here previously. Chance for a double here. Crowd quiet. Not any longer. Watts slots his second. And as you said, Nick, just a deflator for Fremantle. They're trying to create something.
Yeah, and it's just unnecessary too as a defender. You don't need to give those easy free kicks away. As a forward, that's what being on the move does. It It firstly allows you to get some separation from your defenders, but it also puts the defender in a situation where they sometimes panic, they'll grab a jumper, they're conscious of you getting off them. Don't get much easier than that.
Kirsten bouncing around. Oh, a fumble from Sandilands. Likely good backup though. Tucker to centre half forward. In a funny way, it opened up the forward line for them. And a chance for McCarthy. We know he can kick a long goal. Can he kick two? No.
So he needed better vision. He had a player all on his own in space. It was Bailey Banfield if he had have had a look to his right.
Rockcliffe.
Good lead up.
And everyone thought he was going to mark it, and in the end he does. Chad Wingard only just.
But that shows you how much time and space Wingard had on the lead. He was able to actually muff the mark, pop it up in the air, and still get the second grab.
Just interesting, boys. That mark from Chad Wingard brings us to 14 marks inside 15. Last year, Port Adelaide only averaged 13 a game, so well and truly on the board in this one.
Yeah, well, they're so well equipped, aren't they, up forward with the additions of Watts in particular, and Rockcliffe and Motlop. We know they can score as well. Such a versatile forward line. And Robbie Gray to come back in. They've got the weaponry as Chad Wingard salutes with another.
Port Adelaide have been really clever in the way they've manipulated their forward line. We can see here the Port Adelaide forwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, all pull back and open up all of this space through the 30 to 50 metre range. As we let it unfold, we can see that's the space they want to go to. They identify it, they pull it back, and then it's just a matter of the midfielder just pulling the kick nicely into the space that the forward's moving into.
Move it on. Play on.
Marshall couldn't quite get there to take the mark. Off the back, Johnson. Oh, Hills. Handball was stolen. Long shot at goal. Across the face from Ebert. Neal for Mundy. Cleary there to battle it out. Cleary has a couple of goes at it. Mundy as it comes back inside. Not easy at all out there. Hill. Barry wears him well. Burn-Jones. A little tap. Banfield. Captured straight away by Motlop. Welcome to the big time, Bailey. In they go again, Mundy. Things hotting up on the outer side. Motlop's got it again. He'll break through the 50 with style and panache. Stevie Motlop showing his wares to the Port fans. They love him already.
It was just an absolute scrimmage on the far side.
There was a throw in there. Playing. Gee, it's a good finish though, isn't it?
It's a great finish, and you just feel like that sort of summarises the game a little bit so far, in that whoever won the bobble, the loose ball, was going to be in a really attacking position to score, but it takes a quality finish from Motlop to get it done on that occasion. Just role players type.
Yep. Jonas has elevated himself as a defender, and Cleary's done very well, but they're certainly getting the job done. Oh, it's downfield. They don't need extras like that to help them score.
Again, I mean, Sam Gray gets up unaffected. He's okay, but just didn't need to do it. I mean, this is Nat 5 just getting frustrated with the way things are going.
Todd Marshall again, looking for his third goal. He's had a big quarter already, and it's only getting bigger. "47 points, game high so far for Port Adelaide. They may have an injury concern down there though, Moons.
Yeah, we do at the moment. Paddy Wright has come off with an ankle injury. We just see the ice on his ankle right now. Is that left ankle? That's why, if anyone noticed, Westhoff and Dixon have been doing the ruck work for most of this quarter, but he's come off, rolled. He won't be back on for the rest of the day, iced up like that.
He certainly contributed today.
Yeah, I think he's shown some good signs, Hutto.
McCarthy, can Brayshaw get his first goal? No, it's McCarthy. Now they're saying it's touched, and it is.
It is, clearly.
2 goals. Here he is with Jack Watts.
A lot of tired players out there, not much further afield. That's why he's had to hang on to it for quite some time.
Blakely well positioned. Ryan's made it as difficult for him as possible. Langdon eventually gets it right, but the siren sounds. And that signals three-quarter time at the Adelaide Oval. The Port Adelaide fans are quite content as their team, with some new faces, 14-10-94, leading Fremantle 7-6-48 by 46 points. Houston. Cleary. Wingard in front. Strong mark, and look, he's into the next phase already. Bouncing. It started on the wing. He's had 3. He'll think about a 4th instead. Pops it for Marshall. And he might as well go on. And Stroll in for his 4th. And a hole around the Adelaide Oval for Marshall's 4th.
Well, it's a big game. 4 goals in your first game of the year for a young tall forward to be able to make that sort of contribution. But again, the ability to contested mark, just what that does to the game, it breaks it open. Chad Wingard marking 2v1, and Brad Hill was running down the far wing for Fremantle, went inside 50, and it was a turnover. Port Adelaide back the other way. They were able to convert, kick a goal, and that's been the difference in the game so far.
Taberner calls it long.
Yep. Toss it up. Does give the defenders a chance to spoil. Howard duly did that. Around the corner, Walters, has he got enough of it? It's not quite there. Walters. Got some resources on this side of the ground. Lundy trying to use them. 5, it's all ahead of him. Just ducked the kick back a fraction, but it's held its line. And it's a Fremantle goal to Nat Fyfe.
Some sore boys tonight.
Could have been a bigger day for Charlie, couldn't he? He's 1 goal, 3. He's had 18 disposals. Taken 7 marks. Now Rockcliffe looking for that handoff. Good tackle, McCarthy. The desperation. He is a high-pressure player. Although he does appear laconic at times. Marshall has a misfire on the first. Decides to use the foot instead and sends it deep for Power Pepper. Didn't mark, but the spillage was all Port Adelaide. And Watts has kicked his 3rd goal.
Just a little too easy in the end. He could have dished it off to Tommy Rockcliffe, who would have run in and kicked an easy goal, but he just had a beautiful little angle across his body, Jack Watts, and he's so relaxed and steady. You watch how easily he does this. You'll see Rockcliffe come steaming by, calling for the hand pass, would have run into it, but sometimes when you get the ball and you've got good goal sense, it just feels right to kick the ball. That's exactly how it felt for Jack Watts. Just did it so easily.
Still almost 7 clearances per match as well. Gets it going from the coalface. Send Hartlett now up to half forward. Again, Power Pepper in the frame, kept his feet as others went to ground, and he can streak through centre half forward. Loves a long goal. Oh, it's the base of the post.
He's kicked that from 55. Just low dart.
In fact, it's 21.
He's equalled the record.
He's equalled the record. Still 4.5 minutes to go. Surely he's a certainty from here. Kick goes to centre half forward. Wingard again, they sweep through and into the danger zone. And who's there for his 4th goal? Jack Watts!
Oh, no!
He thought he had an open goal square. He didn't really kick through it. He just stabbed it.
Oh, career high in your first game for Port Adelaide.
Sutcliffe the spoiler. Down the line again, Matera has to play tall. He does this time. There's a chance for one last one. He missed a gaping hole in the square. High ball from Wilson's curling back. And it's a goal. He's had a lot to do today down in defence.
High contact, Adelaide. Hold there, please. Hold there.
Margin back to an even 50. Dixon. Some tired boys out there now. Boak paddles it back. He missed a hit-up opportunity in the forward 50. But the siren sounds around the Adelaide Oval. And the new look Port Adelaide will be very happy with a contribution of their big recruits. Jack Watts, Stephen Motlop, Tom Rockcliffe all played their part. Plenty of smiles. Port Adelaide getting home by 50 points in round one.
Workmanlike, I think, is the best way to describe it. They had a slow start, pretty messy first quarter. They got 2 or 3 goals up at quarter time, but that's going to be the big talking point from a Port Adelaide perspective. How bad is the Achilles of Paddy Ryder? The fact that he's walking on it and they haven't put him in a boot or on crutches, I think is very much a positive sign.
Absolutely. With a serious Achilles, he wouldn't be walking. Former Port player Daniel Pearce down there. Head downstairs shortly. A bit of thinking to do in that box after the 50-point loss.
And that's the difficulty sometimes, is you doubt all the things you've worked on over the pre-season because you've come out and put in a pretty ordinary performance, but you've got to measure that against the fact that they didn't execute right and they came up against a pretty good team. Let's go down to Cameron Mooney.
Yeah, thanks very much, Jace. Obviously, you got Jack Watts, Stephen Motlop. I'll start with you, Motts. It must have been a great thrill just to get this one off the back, mate. Get out here and just play.
Yeah, it's good to have the first one at home in front of the fans and get a good win, and really enjoyed it.
What about you, Jack? I mean, you want to, when you play for your club for the first time, you want to have a good day. You've done that.
Yeah, I guess it's a bit of a relief, really. A lot of pressure coming in, and I think we just enjoyed ourselves and got out there and had some fun and played really well. So it's a good start and start of the journey.
What about that second half, Moz? I mean, the first one was pretty tight first half, but that second half really just blew the game open. You run and carry. You must be quite impressed with that.
Yeah, we're pretty fit at the moment, and as we are off a big pre-season, and our list is really strong at the moment. Not many injuries, so everyone's really fresh.
You've seen some good teams at Geelong. How do you rate this one at the moment?
We've got a lot of work to do, but we're going all right.
What about you, Jack? I mean, you come over here, it's a fresh start for you. You must have just enjoyed your summer. Now that's just off the back, you're just away.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the thing. We came over here and it was a big change, but I couldn't be any happier. And as Mott said, we've got a long way to go, and there's a long season, but great start today.
You played here a couple of times, obviously, boys, but did you get used to this?
Not like this. We haven't had the fans on our side, so geez, what an atmosphere, and how good are these fans?
Go and enjoy it, boys. You both deserve it. Well done.
They're popular boys. Big win in the end for Port Adelaide. 16-14, 110. Nice percentage booster to start the year. Fremantle 9, 660. In front of 38,000 people at the Adelaide Oval.